car number 43 for Butch Perry Jr. out of Ashaway, Rhode Island, the Windjammer Concert Club car. Outside of him, driving car number 03, it is Tracy Robbins.
Then we go with car number 64, another local ace from Stafford Springs. It is the Charter Lumber Hampton Meadows service machine for Herb Bennett Sr.
In the 24 starting position, it is car number 36 for Brad Boisenall during Sizzler Saturday. Now it is Sizzler 5 and 9, and the stage is set and the competition is ready. Car number 88, Bobby Skinger on the inside of the front row, and Cliff Stakey. Evenly matched, they'll come off the turn. Chris Hopkins on the starter stand. He'll look things over. Off the turn, the pace is slow. The intensity begins to show its mark. The green flag is out. They're underway, and Skinger leads them into turn number 1.
They head for the first turn with Bobby Skinger out in front. Car number 88 running in the second spot is Cliff Stakey with the 66 automobile. Chuck Doherty holds on to third. Then it is car number 5 out of Woodstock, Bim Adams. Larry Vassar now moves the Hollywood Auto, car number 1, in to round out the top 5. Chuck Zentarski keeps down low, challenging for that 5th spot as they cross the line. Zentarski picks up a top 5 spot.
Chuck Zentarski moves to the bottom side, and speaking of the bottom side, there's a bid for the lead. Suddenly, Skinger slams the door rather abruptly, and Cliff Stakey has to settle for second. Meanwhile, down the back straightaway, it is Zentarski who moves into position number 4. Not far behind, George the Mad Dog Bissett puts some pressure on Leo Bim Adams. They come back to the line. It's still Skinger taking the lead. Stakey now tries to work him over on the bottom. There's the challenge rust in turn 2 for position number 1.
Skinger is able to hold off the challenge, but Stakey does not move. He stays glued to the bottom of the racetrack, and that will prove to be a very advantageous position for him as the race laps tick away. Off the 4th turn and back down to the line, it is Bobby Skinger followed by Cliff Stakey as they begin to open it up a little bit now on Doherty.
Further back in the pack, things have gotten settled in for just a moment, and George Mad Dog Bissett is still hunted down by Leo Bim Adams. Then not far behind, it is car number 1 for Larry Vassar. Out at the front of the field, battle becomes a battle for 3rd. Chuck Zentarski tucks it down low. The black Goodwrench machine moves to the inside. That's the colors and that's the markings. We've got Zentarski up to 3. He's looking to visit Victory Lane one more time here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
The Mad Dog, George Bissett in the 39, also running very, very well here tonight as he finds himself in the top 5. A challenge for the lead comes once again as they head for turn number 3. Stakey continues to look to the low groove of the racetrack. Off the turn, here they come as Chuck Zentarski gets way up high between turn 3 and 4. He's able to gather it back together, but boy, did it cost him some spots.
Chuck Zentarski had some type of a suspension problem on the car, and he backs out of it. Meanwhile, at the front of the class, they've strung it out by about half the straightaway's distance. It is car number 88 still in command, and that, of course, is Bobby Skinger. Stakey still working him over rather impressively. He puts the pedal to the metal as they come off the turn. No real challenges there, but there is a challenge shaping up again. Back for position number 5. It is Zentarski to the bottom of Leo Bim Adams, and Zentarski takes over the 5th spot. Car number 8 is not considered out of the hunt as yet. He is putting the pressure on and coming back to the front of the class.
I think he just got in a little too hard, too quickly, and he got way up out of the groove. It cost him dearly, but he's beginning to reel those cars in once again, Ben, and Chuck Zentarski is not going to be counted out of this. 7 laps up on the scoreboard. 25 is the distance. Bobby Skinger has led since the initial green.
7 laps into the record books. It is still Skinger in command. Second is still Cliff Stakey. That's the way they've been for 7 circuits. Meanwhile, Chuck Doherty is being pressured by car number 39 for George Mad Dog Bissett. It is Zentarski who's setting in the 5th spot. Not far behind is Leo Bim Adams. 6th spot becomes a hot spot as now Tim Smith goes to the inside with the Dawes landscaping machine. Vassar is on the outside. Conrad Cody is right in the thick of things. And the first of the Fords, Dana Young, is now pressured by the 51 of Don Wood. 8 laps appears on the Winston Racing Series scoreboard. They come back to the line. It is still Skinger in command. Stakey running right on his back bumper as they head into turn number 1.
Some real heavy action taking place deep in the pack. Larry Vassar in car number 1 doing a great job tonight. We have Dana Young and the 20 of Kevin Zarnicki coming together. John Ledger takes full advantage. Ledger moves to the outside in turn 3. He tries to get hooked up right directly in front of Art Caruso. Caruso now down low on the racetrack. Caruso, the 64 of Bennett, and the 06 of Bruce Berry.
Good racing action for that number 3 position, too. Chuck Zentarski is pressured by the number 8 down the back straightaway. A tap to the bumper. He lets him know he's there. Look at Zentarski. He just stood on the throttle, moved by Doherty, like Doherty put the brakes on. Zentarski is flying. He takes over the third spot. Once he gets on by, he literally starts to pull away by about a car length and a half as he is really starting to close up the gap. Leader is still Bobby Skinger. Second is still Cliff Stakey. Third spot is now the number 8. Down the back straightaway, pretty much everything among the top 10 is unchanged as they come back to the line. Right there to contend with him, but he still isn't able to get the job done. And time is starting to run out of the competition here. Further back in the pack, there is another battle shaping up between Tim Smith and Leo Bim Adams. Larry Vassar is still holding off the pressures of the Don Wood machine, car number 51, but the leader still remains.
Yeah, Rick's my teammate, and we had a little problem last time we raced where we both came together and went down the front chute and made. But we're looking forward to a good year with both cars.
That all goes with the business, gentlemen. Mike and Brock, thanks a million. All right, it looks like we will not get a start this time by then as Chris Hopkins displays the yellow flag to our leaders.
We also want to mention that the NASCAR officials have decided that car number 36, Brad Boisenall, brought out. So even though things are changed, exactly what he wants and what he anticipates on the start. So that's what he's explaining to them down at trackside. We want to mention also, those of you that tune in to Motorsports Racing for Race Week, the radio show, 30. For those of you that have a satellite, it's transponder.
We think you'll find it very, very interesting when we begin to get reports out of the infield from the newest member of our team, Barry Simons.
Well, the stage is set, the green is back out, and we're racing off turn number 4. As they head into the first turn, Bobby Skinger's got the lead again, but Cliff Stakey's trying a little bit of different strategy. He tucks it back into where he was before. If a move's going to come, it's going to come pretty quick. Down the back straightaway, a good challenge developing for the number 1 spot. Deep into turn number 3, it is car number 8 that becomes the thorn in everyone's side as Zarnecki is looking to get to the front of this class. Meanwhile, further back in the pack, that's where the challenge is between a whole pack of cars, among them being Dana Young, Zarnecki, along with the number 64 of Herb Bennett. Caruso is right there in the thick of things. Down the back straightaway, the leaders get crossed up. It is Bob Skinger who goes spinning. Tim Smith takes it down through the low road as he races to get back onto the racetrack to try to pick up the number 1 position. Stakey was involved, so wasn't Zarnecki, but Bob Skinger, once the leader of the event, was right in the thick of things. As Skinger is able to pull away under his own power, Stakey is stopped on the high side of the racetrack with car number 66. He checks out the suspension, how it all quickly will change, as also Chuck Zantarski has flat right side rubber. Both the right front and the right rear is flat on the car. He looks to head back to the pit area. 50, the number 2 spot. Leo Bim Adams has got the 3rd spot. And
off the turn they come through 3 and 4. Green flag is out, and it is the Mad Dog, George Bissett, out in front with car number 39. Chuck Doherty runs in the 2nd spot. Tim Smith with the 81 holds on for 3rd, but down on the low side with the 5X is Bim Adams.
No question about it, the battle becomes a battle for position number 3. Larry Vassar is not far behind with car number 1. And look out, here comes Don Wood with the 51. Challenge is on. Position number 3 is the hot spot still. Here comes Tim Smith on the outside. Leo Bim Adams down low. They work their way back to the line. Smith has got the number 3 spot. Leo Bim Adams has the 4th spot, but right there as a factor is car number 1 for Vassar. Vassar sets in position number 5. Not far behind is Zantarski in the 6th spot. Herb Bennett has the 7th position. 8th is now Wood. He dropped back 3 positions on the last lap. 16-lap show. When they come back to the line, George Mad Dog Bissett is the Mad Dog who sets the pace at the front of the field.
Chris Hopkins with a very close eye on one of the competitors just coming off of turn number 4. He glared right down at the racetrack, so he's keeping a close eye on someone. We're just not sure at this point who that someone is. Meanwhile, back up front, Bissett continues to set the pace. The 64 of Herb Bennett is into the infield pit area. Barry Simons will see if he can find out what the problem is with good old Herbie.
Trouble now. We've got him 3 wide and down on the grass coming off turn number 4. Dana Young is one of the cars involved in the mix-up. He pulls right out of the competition, rather strangely, with car number 53, as if he had some kind of a problem with the suspension or the steering on the car. It is still George the Mad Dog Bissett setting the pace up front. 18 laps now show. Chuck Doherty still setting in 2nd. 3rd spot is still Tim Smith. Battle is still on for 4th. No real challenges, but Larry Vassar is literally all over the back bumper of Leo Bim Adams. Further back in the competition, they're dicing it up. Chuck Zantarski is trying to get dialed back in, but the magic he once had is all but gone, and it left with 2 flat tires when he was forced to go to the pits on the last caution. 19-lap show. When they come back to the line, they get the high 5. It means 5 circuits remaining in the competition here.
Little paint swapping being done between the 2 challengers for the lead. We're going to make that 3 almost instantly as Smith now really begins to close in. But Doherty and Brissett are really working each other over in the closing stages of this event. George Brissett to lead them across to complete lap 21.
No question about it. It is the same. Chuck Doherty has been there on several occasions. Is he tired and breaks.
Very, very capable of pulling off the win, as is the 5 of Bim Adams. Let's see what happens.
They pick up the pace. The green flag is out, and George the Mad Dog Brissett just stands on the throttle. He sets the pace at the front of the field. Chuck Doherty runs in second. Tim Smith sets in the number 3 spot. Now Smith takes a peek at it on the outside. Can't do it this time. Look out, here comes Larry Vassar. The black day-glow pink and green number 1 has now snuck into the 4 spot. And not far behind is that crafty old veteran from Stafford Springs, Connecticut, Herb Bennett. He is really on a roll. This time by, the popsicle sticks are up. 2 laps to go. As they head into turn number 1, George the Mad Dog looks rather comfortable at the front of this pack. But time is starting to run out. If anyone's been saving anything, it's got to show now. Trouble now. Bennett goes around after turning in such a great run in the 5th spot. Kevin Zarnecki also is involved in the mix-up. You can see the smoke coming out from beneath the hood of car number 20. The standard auto wrecker goes to assist. We go to caution once again. Well, the green flag is back out, and George the Mad Dog Brissett wasted no time at all. Trouble now. We've got the Sperry car losing a tire. It goes bouncing off the wheel fencing, and the car almost stops in the exact same location that Larry Penson's car was stranded with this similar type of a situation. Green flag is back out. George Mad Dog Brissett looks as good as he did last time. Look out, here's the battle for 3rd. Smith drifts up again. Vassar tries to hold on to the outside. The 2 lock horns down the front straightaway. But it is still George Mad Dog Brissett in command as they head down the back straightaway. Battle is for 3rd. We've got the 11 going around of Joey Scata. Scata gathers it back. No real damage done there, but are we going to go to caution again?
Quite obviously from the UK, spending about 30-plus years calling motorsports events in the United Kingdom.
Well, here comes the green once again, and as they come off the turn, it is still the Mad Dog in command. This is the way it looked last time. The only difference is the surprise factor now becomes the Caruso number 12. Caruso has moved in. He started in the 15th position. Art Caruso is up to the 3rd spot and now pressuring Doherty for position number 2. When they come off the turn, the white flag is out. It'll surrender to the checker, and that means only one thing, less than 1 circuit to go. Big question is, has anybody been saving anything? It appears the strongest car among the top 3 becomes Art Caruso with car number 12. Single file, they come off the 2nd turn. Down the back straightaway, George Mad Dog Brissett is in command. Chuck Doherty runs in 2nd. Art Caruso reels him in, taps him on the bumper, says, look out, I am there. Not far behind, coming from the back of the pack, it is Bobby Skinger. Here comes the double checkers. George Mad Dog Brissett takes down the victory. Doherty in for 2nd. Caruso's got 3rd. Then it looks like Bobby Skinger for 4th, unofficially for the 5th spot. It is Larry Vassar with car number 1. Well, Mike Kalanoff will be down in the winner's circle.
9. The Mad Dog. George Brissett wheels that car into victory lane for his get-together and his celebration tonight.
Mike Gilbert reports to the front gate, down there right in the midst of the excitement. Here's the official finish, taking down the victory, George Mad Dog Brissett, finishing 2nd. It is car number 02 for Chuck Doherty. Art Caruso takes down 3rd. Bobby Skinger is 4th. 5th is Larry Vassar. 6th is Leo Bim Adams. 7th is the 51 of Wood. 8th is the 22 of Foster. 9th is Conrad Cody. And 10th is the 11, 10th spot. Now we go trackside, Mike Kalanoff, to talk with our winner, the Mad Dog.
Well, it looks a little hot and a little tired. George Brissett, a great run. Those last couple of restarts, what was going through your mind there?
I ain't never going to get this. My luck always turns out this way. The car was like on rails at the end. I just floored it out of the turns, and it was unbelievable. So I got to give all that credit to my crew.
How about some of these guys that work in this car week in and week out? If it wasn't for them, you really wouldn't be here in Victory Lane tonight.
If it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for a few of my good sponsors, as you can see, Witters, F&M Electric, you got Cherrick Iron Works, and Lasco, of course, and TNA, and they all worked out good. We earned this one, believe me.
A good foundation for the rest of the 1991 season for you?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
Well, we'll see what unfolds. George Bissett here in Victory Lane. Let's go back upstairs to Ben Dodge and Russ Dowd.
The Racing Series Modified main event is 35 laps in distance, and the man that's starting right up front, his mom, Ida, is having a birthday this evening. Happy birthday goes out to Ida Gunning, her son Bo Gunning in the Partica S&S race cars. Number 33 will be starting in the front row of the competition here. Outside of that row, driving car number 13, it'll be car number 13, the Christopher Racing Enterprises car for Teddy Christopher. On the second row on the inside, it's the Coors, number 31. The inside, driving car number 70. This gentleman is also one of the senior drivers on the NASCAR Winston Modified Tour. The field is set. The man whose mom is having a birthday, Ida Gunning, happy birthday goes out to her, and Bo would like nothing better than to win this one for her. Let's see what's going to happen. Teddy Christopher, one of the toughest men to beat, teamed with Bo Gunning. That's a tough act to follow.
And it looks like we're going to find out just how this act will play out on stage. The stage is the half mile here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. The pace car is in. Side by side, they inch their way off of turn 4. Suddenly, Gunning puts the hammer down. Green flag is out, and as they cross the stripe, Bo Gunning will lead them down the straightaway and into turn number 1.
Battling Bo Gunning shows that he wasn't sleeping on the start. He pulls away from the field, but not far behind. Richie Gallup is on a roll. He is right there behind the Christopher machine, tucks it into the number 3 spot. Georgia Duke can as they come off the turn and work their way back to the line. It is still car number 33 for Bo Gunning. Even at turn number 1, Christopher takes a peek at it, but a peek isn't good enough. Out of the competition goes Mike Paquette. He drops out with a mechanical problem, but down the back straightaway, Russ, the battle is for the lead. Christopher is all over Gunning's back bumper as they head off turn number 4.
Off of 4 and heading down the front straightaway, right on the rear bumper, is the 13 of Christopher. He's all but pushing Bo Gunning through turns 1 and 2. The rest of the field working desperately to play catch-up as the 2 front automobiles try to pull away just a little bit. In the 3rd spot, it is Richie Gallup in the 31 automobile. Off the turn they come, back down to the line. This time by, they'll complete lap number 3 as the open wheel modifieds rumble around the half mile.
No question about it. Further back in the pack, there's all types of dicing and slicing going on. But right now, the battle is for the number 1 position. Teddy Christopher has enough power to reel him in and enough power to set up the move. But there is no room on the racetrack to complete that move as yet. One false move could change it all, but not far behind is Richie Gallup. Now, keep your eyes on Gallup. He is a veteran, and he is used to competing with Gunning and Christopher. That's how he started his racing career before he moved to the NASCAR Modified Tour. Good racing action going on among the top 5 position. Here comes Gallup. Off the turn, he makes contact with Christopher, and Christopher spins to the inside of the racetrack. He is still moving to the outside. Everybody tries to squeak by. Will they all make it through, Russ? Yes, it appears they will. As the caution flag comes out, and once again, Teddy Christopher has no luck at all in this Winston Racing Series main event.
That was a real tough one, too, because instead of...
Veteran, let's see what's going to happen. He stands on the throttle. Gunning gets the bite once again. They come off the turn, and Gunning sets the pace. Not far behind is Gallup. George Gant still sitting in that 3rd spot, and Bobby Georgitis becomes a surprise factor in position number 4. This young man's got a lot of talent. He is coming to the front of the class, and so is another competitor that might be a surprise to some. It is the 04 of Jamie Steele. He is rolling to the front of this field, too, looking very strong, and the 6 of Chambrello looks strong. We've got a problem with a 179 in the back of the pack. He makes some contact with the outside retaining wall, tries to gather it back. We're still under green.
Heading back towards turn number 3, it is still Bo Gunning in the 33, right directly behind him, the 31 of Richie Gallup, as they aim the cars off of turn 4, back down the front straightaway. They're beginning to open it up just a little bit over the 70 of George Kent.
Sparks fly beneath the Frank Hurd automobile, car number 24. That upsets things quite a bit. Jensen has his share of problems. Hurd is aware of the fact that he's developed a problem, drops way off the pace and moves to the inside. Off the turn, here comes Richie Gallup. He is all over the back bumper of Bo Gunning. What a race we're in for as they head into turn number 1. It is still Gunning who dominates the racing action. Trouble now down the front straightaway.
And a very, very hard hit. It appears as though a radiator hose or something let go, because you can see an awful lot of fluid out on the racetrack. track crew on the scene immediately, calling for the rest of the track crew and for the medical personnel to go in and check the situation out immediately. Rick Shostet out of Bradford, Rhode Island in car number 77, taking a hard hit right in the first turn wall.
Apparently what happened initially, it looked like about 3/4 of the way down the front straightaway, he ended up cutting a tire. Then it appeared that the problem became a little bit more severe. As he went into the first turn, it almost appeared as if there was no brakes on the automobile, and he just went straight into the retaining wall. We have a car in the parking lot with its lights on.
For Rick, he had been a regular competitor at the Thompson Speedway, hailing from nearby Bradford, Rhode Island. And he took last season off to try to get the entire operation back on track. And in the early events this year, his qualifying here and at the Icebreaker at the Thompson Speedway, Rick Shostet looked very, very strong, very impressive, and ran exceptionally well.
Taken up, he walked into the ambulance when the ambulance crew very much on the ball, tremendous amount of help. He was able to walk into the ambulance, so thank goodness nothing drastic. The only other thing that's happened, of retirement, 179, I think a lot of
more additional information in reference to that. The lights are still on the Pontiac Excitement machine at this time.
Congratulations and good luck in the future. We appreciate you stopping by.
We're just going to take it by stride, see what happens.
We want to wish you the best of luck in your stride, and hope that 91 turns out to be a great season. You're off to a good start tonight.
Thank you.
George Bissett, the Mad Dog. Green flag is back out. The field rumbles off of turn number 4. Back down to the line they come, and Bo Gunning once again takes command, but up on the high side it is Richie Gallup. Gallup not about to give up 1 square inch of real estate, and we've got trouble in turn number 1. Stacking them up like the proverbial pile of cordwood, and the drivers begin to pull away. It appears as though it began with the spin with the George Kent car, and then of course everything just backed up beyond that. Many wounded race cars located down in that turn 1 area right now, and this is going to take a few minutes to clean up. If you would like some great ice,
appears that he is at least 1 lap down. So 1 lap down on the Johnson machine. Peter Locke pulls the Grand Prix Excitement machine to the center of the infield. We're ready to go racing. Green flag is out off the turn. Bo Gunning looks very strong once again. He stands on the throttle, pulls away from the field. Directly behind him is still the number 31 of Richie Gallup. The battle is on for third. Mike Christopher, he's got it down the back straightaway. Bobby Georgiadis is pressured by Shawanski. Now remember, 2 Friday nights ago, Shawanski was so smooth coming to the front of this class, he was the victor. Will he do it again tonight? He looks as good in this evening's event.
He is really hooked up, running the high groove around the racetrack, stays right up to the top side, makes his move up and around Georgiadis, down the back straightaway. Shawanski is glued to this racetrack. Keep an eye on that car number 57. Meanwhile, up front, it is a 4-way. Let's make it a 5-way run for the lead. Bo Gunning has his hands full.
No question about it. Check that. Instead of a 5-way, it's about a 7 or 8 or 10-way. Trouble now. A little bit out of shape. It is Shawanski and Georgiadis who come together. They did make contact. Both went around, and both will continue on their way. They've lost several positions on the racetrack. There is no caution at this time. When they come back to the line, it is still Gunning in command.
Bo Gunning has managed to open up about a 1-car length advantage over Richie Gallup in the 31. Mike Christopher right up there with the 82 automobile. Running next is the 55 of Sneed as he heads deep into turn number 3. Ted Christopher, car number 13, after going all the way to the back, has managed to work his way now up into position number 5. So Teddy is on a roll with the trash away machine.
Teddy Christopher just hasn't been able to find any luck here at the half mile. Maybe it has changed here this evening. He had problems earlier. He has come back to the top 5, and he has done it in 11 laps. Here comes Richie Gallup, very, very strong to the outside. Can't do it this time. Meanwhile, Teddy Christopher tucks it down low beneath the number 55 of Sneed. Still Richie Gallup. Meanwhile, Mike Christopher's got a comfortable third, but the battle for fourth is far but comfortable. It is a battle between the number 55 of Sneed and Teddy Christopher. Teddy Christopher runs the outside. We've got one of It appears to be the number 98 pulling to the center of the infield and out of the competition for Rocky D'Amato. Off the turn, here comes Gallup. He's going to try for it again. Gunning still got the lead. Mike Christopher still got third, and that battle that's been raging for about 6 laps is still appearing. Trouble now. Teddy Christopher and John Sneed come together. Sneed literally hand grenades and spins and bounces off the wall. The good luck turns again into bad luck for Ted Christopher. He is able to pull away somewhat under his own power. John Sneed's car is a car that suffered the worst of the shot. It literally hit at a ton, both front and then slapped around to the rear. And Sneed's car is now stopped on the racetrack dead center between turns 1 and 2. And therefore, anything could happen and possibly will. Bo Gunning did not like the way things looked initially on the start. He does not move. Richie Gallup pulls away from the field, and that's going to tighten things back up again. Chris Hopkins says, one more time. You do not when you got Bo Gunning running to the inside of you. Just what we predicted occurs. Gunning pulls away at the front of the field. Right there in the number 2 spot. It is still Richie Gallup. 3rd spot is Mike Christopher. 4th spot is Bob Potter, one of the crafty veterans. And look who's in position number 5. Tommy Tagg has snuck to the front of the class before the halfway marker in this event. This young man's got some real talent. And speaking of talent, to the outside is Eddie Spires with car number 3X. Another one of the youngsters that has come up through the ranks rather well in this open-wheel Winston Racing Series modified division.
Both Eddie Spires and Tom Tagg well represent that young class of drivers coming into the sport, and they certainly show that they can get the job done as well. Bo Gunning, meantime, the crusty, crafty veteran, leads them off the turn, brings them down into turn number 1, and right behind him, we've got trouble as Jensen in the 179 slides down through the infield. Everything appears to be okay. We remain under green, and Gunning continues to set the pace through turns 3 and 4.
Through the dust off the 4th turn, the field will head into turn number 1, and now Jensen's about a lap and a half down as he comes back out on the racing surface. Leader of the pack still remains Bo Gunning. Further back in the pack, we've got a battle with Kenny Johnson taking place. He's waltzing around and having his share of problems holding on to his spot. Frank Hurt is also a factor in that battle, and now Mike Christopher has moved within striking distance among the top 3 positions. Christopher now goes to the outside. Gallup has a problem. He shuts the car down as they head into turn number 1. Something mechanically has let go in Richie Gallup's car. Now Gallup stops on the racetrack. Johnson goes spinning, and the caution flag comes out again on lap number 20.
Another thing,
A Nina on him, and who really is Nina? It involves Linda Vaughn, so tune in, find out on that story.
has nothing to do with Christopher Columbus.
Or big things.
Green flag back out, and we're underway one more time. Down to the line, here they come. Bo Gunning continues to set the pace. Running in the 2nd spot now is the 82 of Mike Christopher.
No question about it. There's the battle out in front, but not far behind is Bob Potter. To the outside goes Tommy Tagg. Further in the pack, we've got 4 cars under that old proverbial blanket. Shawatsky is one of those cars. Remember what he did 2 weeks ago? He spun early in the competition and came right back to the front. Teddy Christopher is trying to do the same thing, and what a great battle it is happening for positions 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Down the back straightaway, Mike Christopher's got him all reeled in. Gunning is still holding on. He's running a nice tight line, Russ. As they come back to the line, Gunning is still the star of this show.
He certainly is, but one driver we cannot overlook is the driver of car number 51. He currently sits 3rd on the grid. That's Bob Potter out of Norwich. Potter is one of the winningest drivers in this division. He is right on the rear bumper of Mike Christopher. The lead trio down the back straightaway into turn number 3. It is the 33 of Gunning, the 82 of Christopher, the 51 of Potter. Back to the line they come. 23 laps go up on the scoreboard.
23 laps on the Winston Racing Series scoreboard, and another factor in the competition. He was up front early, met with misfortune, and he's come from adversity to come back to the front. It is Bobby Georgitis with car number 86. He sets in the 4th spot. 5th spot is Shawatsky. 6th spot is now Eddie Spires, and 7th spot is Teddy Christopher running the outside, followed by Tommy Tagg.
They run pretty much single file with the exception of a battle a little bit deeper in the pack as Christopher looks to the outside of Spires. He makes that move look very, very easy as Teddy takes the car deep into turn number 3. He picks up yet another position. Laps are beginning to become precious as we have 25 on the scoreboard. 35 is the scheduled distance. And Bo Gunning has led from green flag conditions right up front for all 25 circuits.
Rocky D'Amato had his share of problems. He come off the fourth turn down into the grass, but he is now okay. Leading him back to the line, it is still Bo Gunning. But look at the battle for third. Bobby Georgiadis has moved underneath Bob Potter in his quest to take over position number 3. Georgiadis has snuck into the number 3 spot. Steve Shawansky is right there down underneath Bob Potter. He's got position number 4, and look out to the front of the pack again. Here comes Teddy Christopher. 1, 2, 3 times. Well, you know the story. You're out. Well, he is up to bat. He is now among the top 5, and there is still plenty of time to thread the needle and get to the front of this field. Teddy Christopher is on a roll. He's back into the 5th spot, dropping Bob Potter back to 6th. 27 circuit show on the scoreboard. Bo Gunning has led each and every one of those as they come back to the line, and Mike Christopher can't be counted out of the competition here. Georgiadis and Shawansky now battle for position number 3.
You know, if Bo Gunning does in fact pull down the wind.
And off the fourth turn, Frank Hurt and the number 6 of Pat Chambrello. Hurt spins to the inside of the racetrack, and Chambrello has a real strong smoke screen coming from beneath his automobile. Hurt is able to get it fired back up and heads back towards the pit area, but for Chambrello, it appears the problem is a little bit more severe. 30 laps are on.
Pace car dives in. Bo Gunning setting a very deliberate pace as he enters turn number 3. Mike Christopher getting a little bit anxious. Inches ahead. Suddenly Gunning drops the throttle to the floor, runs it through the gearbox. The green flag is out, and as they head to the line, Gunning has the advantage by inches.
In turn number 1, it is still Gunning in command. Mike Christopher works him over, but look out, here comes Bobby Georgiadis. Georgiadis runs the inside. Shawansky stands on the throttle on the outside. They're almost 3 wide down the back straightaway. We've got Jensen down in the grass, but here comes Shawansky. He's moved into position number 3. Steve Shawansky is on a roll. He is all over Mike Christopher. Skillfully, he has come to the front of this class. What a great run for him. He is right there in the back bumper of Christopher. Christopher slows down the pace just a bit. That's his strategy, then picks it back up as they head off the turn. Looks the field over once again in rows of 2. They're side by side. Battling Bo Gunning has led it for 31 circuits, but the ones that count the most are the ones ahead. They come off the turn, and Gunning holds on. He sets the pace. Shawansky has the number 2 spot by a bumper. He squeaks into the runner-up position. There's only one thing that separates him from a payday, and that is the red, white, and blue number 33 of Bo Gunning. Shawansky looks quick. He taps him on the back bumper. Gunning is a little bit loose as they come off the turn. It's too close to call. Rap, tap, tap to the bumper. They hit into turn 1. Here comes Shawansky.
Steve takes a look to the outside, thinks better of it, drops right back in, hugs the rear bumper of Gunning as they exit turn 2. Down the back straightaway, Shawansky looks to the high side. Can't make the move that time by. Off the turn they come. They look to the start-finish line. Chris Hopkins has the 2-lap marker high in the air. 2 laps to go for your leader.
Trouble now, we've got a spin in turn number 4. The 97 of Botke goes around. Let's see if there is going to be a yellow or not. Down the back straightaway, it appears that the battle is still on for the lead. Botke is off the racing surface itself. It's up to Chris Hopkins. He throws out the yellow, and we are going to be in for a barn burner.
33 laps on the Winston Racing Series scoreboard. 35 the scheduled distance. Pace car is in. It looks like we're about to decide this one.
Off the turn, here they are, evenly matched. It is Gunning who still takes advantage of things on the start. But look out, Shawansky is not going to give him any extra racing room at all. He is right there in his back bumper. Glued, matter of fact. He puts the pressure on as they come off the turn. Shawansky comes off the turn like a rocket. Gunning holds his groove rather nicely. Shawansky looks for some racing room on the outside, taps the bumper. Here's the white flag. It's not over with till they come back to the line and cross it again. Will he be able to do it? Time holds the answer. Deep into turn number 1, Shawansky is all over the back bumper of Gunning. Wrap tap once again. Deep into turn number 3. This has been Gunning's worst turn in tonight's event. Let's see if he's able to hold off the challenges of Shawansky. They come off the turn. Single file. Christopher goes around. It is Gunning, Shawansky, Mike Christopher, Tommy Tagg, and Georgiadis. Teddy Christopher again has no luck at all. Does a pirouette of spins. Talk about having a bad night. Teddy Christopher's had just that. But for Bo Gunning, Mom is in the audience tonight. She can be proud of her son. The happy birthday wish that Gunning wanted to deliver comes true as Gunning will head to Winston Victory Lane, where he'll be congratulated by Mike Kalanoff as he is the big winner in the S&S Race Cars Partica Chevrolet number 33 battling Bo Gunning will take down the victory.
And Bo Gunning. Well, here you are again. You seem a little weary.
Well, I haven't felt good for the last couple of days. I got a bad cold, and I just felt horrible tonight, but I feel pretty good right now.
I'll bet you do. You had Mike Christopher on your tail. There's some good pressure there. On some of those restarts, you began to pull, and then on the final restart, you looked to your right, and there was Steve Trelawnski. What was going through your mind then?
I really wasn't worried starting on the pole. I really thought we could hold him out. There was a lot of speedy joy in the track. Track was very slippery. Just had to go in a little deeper, that's all, and we should have been here last week, too.
But what does it take to run one of these open-wheel modifieds week in and week out, preparation-wise with the crew, and your mental preparation to get here?
Takes a lot of work, a lot of hours, and a lot of money.
Bo Gunning here in Victory Lane at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Let's go back upstairs.
Thank you very much, Mike. Again, congratulations goes out to Bo Gunning for the impressive victory. Mom sneaks in there and gives him the big victory kiss. The Pro Stocks are lining up and preparing on the back straightaway. In just a few short moments, we will attempt to bring you the starting lineup for the Pro Stock main event. Now again, we remind you, as Russ Dowd has mentioned before, the Pro Stock event is going to be a televised event on Continental Cablevision. So during the course of the main event, you might hear us talk about replays and some other things that might sound a little different or unusual. It's due to the fact that Stock main event will be 30 laps in distance. Here's how they're scheduled to come to post. Car number 15, Jeff Zaidem out of Worcester, Massachusetts, will be driving the Duraflex Budweiser 1812 Peyton Auto Body machine. He'll be starting in the front row. Outside of row number 1, driving car number 2, it is Jimmy McCallum out of North Oxford, Mass. The TA Racing Engine, Snap-on Tools.
Next comes the M6 of Chris Kopech and the 17 of Jay Capuano, which is being driven tonight by Chris Prescott.
6 rows back on the inside, Wade Gagner will be driving car number 7, and outside of him in the 74X, it'll be Wayne Savlik.
Then we go with Lou Pryor, Dave Caruso, Mark Farino, Jerry Marquis, Johnny Lobo, Dan Avery, and the remainder of the field. This time by, Ben, we could get a start.
The stage is set. 30 laps around is the distance. The green flag is running in the air. It is Zaidem on the lead in turn 1. But Jim McCallum is a clumsy veteran. He's really starting to apply the pressure before one lap gets into the record books. The strongest and only Chrysler in the field, car number 3, is setting in the 3rd spot for Mike Duquette. He tucks it back in the 3rd. Scott Booley is threading his way to the front of the field with car number 2X. He breaks out of the pack, back to the line. We've got Zaidem of Billy Lordson gets out of shape with car number 99. Down the front straightaway, the 2X of Jerry Marquis gets crossed up. We've got another car spinning in the turn. There is a lot of dust out there. It appears that it is Bruce D'Alessandro with car number 69. But we are still under green flag conditions. Here comes the leaders back to the line. It is car number 15, Jeff Zaidem, still in command. Running in the number 2 spot, he is still Jimmy McCallum. Now McCallum peeks down underneath him. Can't do it this time. Zaidem starts to string it out at the front of the field by about a car length over Jimmy McCallum, who runs in 2nd.
Here they come back off of turn number 4. Down to the line, it is the 15. Car number 15 for Jeff Zaidem is setting the pace here tonight. Off the turn down, across the stripe they come. The Pro Stock automobile.
Further back in the pack, we've got a battle shaping up. It is car number 26 for Booley being pressured heavily by Rick Woods with car number 6. Woods goes to the inside. He gets crossed up and goes spinning to the inside of the racetrack with car number 6. That is costing him a great deal of time. But back up front, speaking of time and making up some time, is Jimmy McCallum. McCallum is reeled in on Zaidem once again, and that Chrysler, car number 3, Mike Duquette, is still running an aggressive 3rd.
You know, Ben, as we mentioned at the opening of the show, Jimmy McCallum is one of the most feared competitors in the Pro Stock division, and you can see why. He is right on the rear bumper of car number 15. They exit turn number 4 down that long front straightaway here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. It is still McCallum.
Look at Tony Papali now. That's the red number 14 that moves to the inside. We've got a problem down the front straightaway. Mark Farino goes around with car number 52, and the number 760 of John Lobo Jr. also is involved in the mix-up. The competition automotive machine, I don't believe Lobo made contact with the wall. I believe he might have spun just to the outside of the racetrack. There you can see him starting to pull away under his own power. It appears that he, as he moves away under
The lead one more time is the 15. Jeff Zydeman, the driver out of Worcester, Massachusetts. He's in turn number 1. The Bud Machine. Now we've got a problem in turn number 1.
We've got him spinning and sliding all over the place. Tim Latiga also involved in this one. The 38 you can see is spun to the bottom. It pulls away under its own power. Paul Hurd is also involved. It looks like the Porter Chester Institute machine. Car number 10A for Dan Avery is one of the cars involved. And there is one additional car we can't quite make out from our vantage point that is also crossways of the racetrack. Running a full-bodied car. He has won at events like the Oxford Plains Speedway and other race facilities as well over the years. He is nobody to be fooled with. Green flag is back out. Zydeman is to the inside as they come off the turn. He is out in front by inches over McCallum. Now McCallum still tries to hold on the outside lane as they head through turn number 2. They're evenly matched. Getting the bite off the turn, it is Jeff Zydeman. Battle is still for second. Tony Papali moves from the 5th spot to the inside to try to take over the number 2 position. Off the turn, back to the line, it is still Zydeman. McCallum tucked it back in the second. Papali has worked his way up from the 5th spot and is running very strong. Keep your eyes on car number 14.
Tony Papali, a former Thompson International Speedway champion, now finds himself taking a peek underneath the 2 of McCallum, and this is something you don't see very often. Anyone seriously challenging Jim McCallum, but Tony Papali is doing it here on the half mile. Meanwhile, Jeff Zydeman has car number 15 hooked up exactly as he wants it. Nice and easy on rails. And McCallum gets loose between turns 1 and 2.
Tony Papali looks to take advantage of this situation. We've got cars up high next to the Armco retaining wall. Rich Wood, Bruce D'Alessandro goes spinning to the inside with car number 69. It appears that we will not go to yellow as once again Zydeman leads the back. There's the Wood car. It is heading back to the infield area. It appears it's going to flap right front tire. Down the back straightaway, it is still Zydeman in command. McCallum still running in second. Papali's got 3. The 4th spot becomes the position where the most challenges are taking place. Tom Rosati took some time off from the competition and now he finds himself back right in the middle of the battle for position number 3. Speaking of the battle for position number 3, we've got a lead change down the back straightaway. It is the black number 2. It has snuck in and taken over the number 1 spot. Tony Papali apparently cut a tire or something. He went in real deep, Russ, and then literally went sideways.
Made contact with Jeff Zydeman of the 15 automobile and now finds himself up against the wall. He's backing down off of the wall now, as you can see.
Attack with the Zydeman car. It cut a tire on him. Then Papali literally went into a 4-wheel drift, then came right around, and that has cost him dearly. He was considered a major factor with 9 laps into the record book. 2 individuals. The interesting point here, both of these cars come from the same area, and they are somewhat rival to the competition here. Second row, it is the Chrysler, car number 3, the Matt Powers.
Ben, as we mentioned, this is normally a Sunday afternoon show, but Mother Nature stepped in and rained on our parade a few weeks ago. The event has been moved up to this Friday night, and what a beautiful Friday night it is for racing. It is warm, and the competition is hot.
No question about it. The green flag comes back out, and the black number 2 is still the driving force in the front of this field. Right there on the back bumper of him is still Jeff Zydeman. Battle becomes a battle for 3rd. Here's Jerry Marquis on the outside of Mike Duquette. We've got more problems in turn number 1. Tim Latiga having a problem once again. He has been involved in every mix-up so far during the...
Not a good night for Timmy at all, but again, surprisingly, he is able to drive away, as is Dave Nordman in car number 5. You can see David pulling away. Jim McCallum jumps on the throttle. There's the scoreboard. Green flag is back out as they exit turn number 4. McCallum once again has the advantage. Zydeman runs second, but we've got problems in turn number 4.
Dave Barabee has no place to go. Car number 38 spun directly in the line of fire. It is the Bennett machine that went around, and Barabee, as the field was coming down for green, made heavy contact. You can see the front end of the Barabee car. The driver of car number 38, he's 16 years of age last year when he started his racing career, and he has quickly discovered how tough it is to compete. So heartbreaking situation for him. You can see the damage to the back end of the car. It appears that he is okay, perhaps a little bit shaken up, but more concerned about the race car. He has not had a good start to 1991.
You can just imagine the amount of work now that he faces. And the tough part is these competitors had hoped to run not only tonight, but tomorrow night and Sunday as well, for the remainder of the weekend. The field rumbles by the two cars that are stopped here on the half mile.
Well, they come off the turn. Green flag is back out in the competition. It is Jimmy McCallum who sets the pace. Jeff Zydeman had a problem, but the yellow flag, or so far, it takes a while to get readjusted, and that team is a very impressive team.
So we have 9 laps completed. Front row has the 15 of Jeff Zydeman leading the field around.
They pick up the pace once again. They're real evenly matched. Jim McCallum, once the leader of the event, apparently had a problem, went to the pit area, now has to do it from the back of the pack. Here they come off the turn. It is the Chrysler's command, and Jeff Zydeman now has a problem. He goes literally down through the infield. He is out of harm's way. It appears that Zydeman's reign has suddenly ended after 9 circuits. This puts the Riverdale Chrysler Matt Powers number 3 to the front of the field. It is Mike Duquette who's looking for his first win ever at the half mile, setting the pace out in front. Jerry Marquis runs in second. Chris Kopech, who's already tasted victory, is in the 3rd spot with car number M6.
Jerry Marquis is probably one of the most versatile drivers in all of New England. He wheels car number 2, running in the 2nd spot right now behind the 3. Jerry, of course, competes on a weekly basis at the Riverside Park Speedway in both the open-wheel modified and the Pro Stock division. You can see problems with the Dan Avery car number 10.
The Porter Chester Institute car has sparks flying from beneath the automobile. He tries to get it off the racetrack, and Billy Lordson pulls out. We've got a lead change. Leader number 4 becomes car number 2X for Jerry Marquis. He just literally sails on by the competition. It really pays off for him. It is Marquis who brings him back to the line on lap number 12.
Chris Kopech, who hails from Ware, Massachusetts, won opening night here at the Speedway and would like nothing better than to make it 2 in a row. He finds himself in the 3rd position behind car number 3. The 2X, the red and white 2X, with Jerry Marquis at the controls, is your leader. There's the 14 of Tony Papali, who had run so strong earlier in the event, only to make contact with the wall. Quick pit stop. He is back in the thick of the action.
Coming to the front of the field, as you mentioned, is Tony Papali, but right now, the man that literally owns the number 1 spot is Jerry Marquis. He dominates the racing action. Here's Dave Caruso. He is also trying to pick them off. Look at car number M6, Chris Kopech. He was literally sideways and rib riding off the turn. Dave Caruso is behind him with Louis Pryor and Tony Papali. 14-lap show on the scoreboard. Leader still remains. And there is a bid as Caruso moves down underneath to take over the 3rd spot. Dave Caruso was involved in the skirmish earlier. Remember when he spun? He is all the way back up to the 3rd spot with car number 1X. Halfway marker has been given. Here's how they stand at the halfway. Jerry Marquis is your leader. Mike Duquette runs in 2nd. 3rd is Caruso. 4th is Kopech. And 5th is Lou Pryor. 6th spot is Papali. 7th spot is McCallum. 8th spot is
Tom Rosati just zipping by the Bruce D'Alessandro car only a lap ago. Meanwhile, we're back to the leaders. There is the 2X of Jerry Marquis out of Enfield, Connecticut. Duquette runs in the 2nd spot with car number 3. You can see the distance between them, only about the length of 2 cars. So this is fun.
No question about it. Marquis has things. Is the only car that's really putting on a challenge in those top 6 positions. Now Duquette is trying to get closer, but close isn't going to be good enough. Time is starting to run out. 18-lap show on the scoreboard. Marquis is still the leader. He sets the pace out in front. Car number 2X is dominating the racing action. Duquette runs in 2nd. Caruso has got 3rd, closing up the gap, but is not a factor yet.
Off the turn they come, back down to the line. Jerry Marquis continues to set the pace. Let's take a look a little deeper in the pack. It is Marquis followed by Duquette. Then it is car number 1, Dave Caruso, that 2nd-generation driver, Ben, the driver we spoke of before the program got underway. Son of the famous.
From the outside, he is doing a good job of holding on to that spot. but still at the front of the field, it is car number 2X setting the pace for Jerry Marquis, who continues to dominate the racing action up front. Mike Duquette is still running in second. 22 circuits are down and into the record book.
Back off of turn number 4. Jerry Marquis, if you watch him run this racetrack, you can tell that he certainly knows his way around. Every lap is in exactly the same spot on the racetrack. He is almost like a machine. On the throttle in a specific location, off the throttle, on the brakes, turn left. It is almost a mechanical thing with him. He is that good at what he does. Here again.
Through an imaginary line on the racing surface, you discover that he would touch that line each and every time around. Very consistent, very strong. Further back in the pack, we've got car number 5 getting up into the loose stuff. No real damage done there. Look at Jimmy McCallum. He has moved down underneath Tony Papali. Now, McCallum was an early leader and an early contender for the victory. He has went to the pit area, went to the back of the pack, and now he is surfacing back to the front of this field. He is down underneath Kopeck as the pressure is really on. That is a battle that rages now for about the 4th, 5th, and 6th spot. Jerry Marquis still in command with 25 laps showing in the Winston Racing Series scoreboard. Fine. The 2 flags in the air indicate 2 laps to go. Final 2 circuits. Still Jerry Marquis. Mike Duquette still running in second. Caruso still got third. 4th is McCallum. 5th is Papali. 6th is Pryor. And 7th is Chris Kopeck. Unofficially in the 8th spot. Further back in the field, it is Scott Booley, followed by the 21 of Seeger. Here he comes back to the line once again. This time he'll receive the white flag. It'll surrender to the checker. This is the circuit that counts the most. For Jerry Marquis, it has been an easy race so far, but it is not over with until they come back to the line and cross at the checker. It is Jerry Marquis who looks for another victory here at the half mile. He is hot and sizzling on this Sizzler Pro Stock feature event. Here comes the checkered flag, and there is your winner, Jerry Marquis from Enfield, Connecticut. Mike Duquette finishes second. Caruso's got third. 4th looks like Jimmy McCallum, and 5th is Tony Papali. Great run for Jerry Marquis.
No two ways about that. Just as smooth as glass, he takes down a well-deserved win here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. We'll be back and talk with our winner of the Pro Stock feature event, Sizzler Weekend.
Not a very easy one for you.
No, it wasn't. We had a lot of tough competition out there. There was a few accidents that actually helped us out. And I'll tell you something, it feels great to be back here in Victory Lane at Stafford Speedway. It's been a long time coming. We used to race late models here, and it really feels good to be back again.
Now, you'll be doing double duty tonight. You look a little weary. You're going to have to catch your breath because in a little while, you'll be strapping into a NASCAR modified.
Yeah, we took it here to Sizzler, and we weren't handling too good with the modified, so we took it home, and we found a lot of things wrong. Car's going a lot better today. Hopefully we'll be able to keep it in one piece and be able to race again tomorrow night. And again, I'd like to thank everybody that's been out here tonight. Did a super job here. These crew did a super job this week getting the car dialed in. I can't thank these guys enough, and the ladies too.
Certainly says it all. Nice hand for Jerry Marquis here in Stafford Victory Lane.
And there you have it, the winner of the feature event for the Pro Stock automobiles here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. We certainly hope that you have enjoyed this presentation on Continental Cable Television. For Ben Dodge, this is Russ Dowd. We thank you very, very much for being with us this evening, and we hope that you will join us each and every Friday night when the race program kicks off at 7:45.
Practice when the sun did shine, but now it is nighttime, and that means it is time to go racing. The purse is there, the glitz and the glamour that surrounds the Stafford Motor Speedway, and now the modifieds are pulling away from the starting grid. They have drawn the top cars, and we'll be taking a look at how they'll be set to go racing. Car number 75 will be starting in the front row of competition, and that is the number 75, the Carl Pastriak machine, the Coors Light automobile, making up row number 1. Outside of him will be the number 69 car. It's a brand new automobile for Reggie Ruggiero. That, of course, is the TJ Toyota machine. The Chevrolet Cavalier, it is a brand new car, as we mentioned. It'll be making up the front row.
It is Wayne Anderson.
The gentleman that just won the Pro Stock main event straps behind the wheel of his own modified, car number 73 from Enfield, Connecticut. It'll be Jerry Marquis. And George Brunhutzel picked up a brand new sponsorship on his automobile. He'll be starting in the next starting spot with car number 28.
Spring Sizzler from the Stafford Motor Speedway. You can see that the field is set. Side by side, heading for turn 3. The pace car now pulls in. It looks like we are about to get a start. And the field rumbles between turns 3 and 4. They pick up the pace, and the green flag is out.
No question about it. Charles Pastriak definitely wasn't sleeping in the start. He literally starts to pull away. And right there in his back bumper, it's Ricky Fuller who sneaks in the second. The Reg comes to life as they come off turn number 2 and head down the back straightaway. Deep into turn number 3, it is car 75, Carl Pastriak. But look out, here's the challenge already for position number 1.
Pastriak has had several great runs here at the Stafford Motor Speedway, but it seems as though when it gets right down near the end of the race, some kind of a catastrophe always strikes. There goes Reggie to the high side of Rick Fuller. Not able to make the move that time, but Reggie does not give up that high groove. He pulls right up even Steven. Door handle to door handle action off of turn number 4. Fuller has the advantage as they cross the line.
A gentleman that has went from one of the front spots to dead last on the racetrack is car number 3 for Doug Heveron. He had a problem and got out of shape down the back straightaway, lost a lot of ground. He is the scratch car currently running on the race surface. Now there's a bid for the lead. With 2 laps showing on the scoreboard off the turn, the McBeth's power plant was installed today. It is looking very strong, but Pastriak still leads him into turn number 2. The Reg is on the outside of Ricky Fuller, the car that he once drove, as they head down the back straightaway.
Pretty much single file now, so it is Pastriak in the 75, Reggie Ruggiero, car number 69. The 44 has Rick Fuller at the controls. In the gate it is Jeff Fuller, followed by Jamie Tomeno in car number 2. Look at the cars come down that long front straightaway and dive into turn number 1. Then they get geared right back up, reaching speed on that point on the racetrack of just about 135 miles per hour.
No question about it. When they come off the turn, the leader still remains Pastriak, but now there's the Reg taking a peek at it on the inside lane. Pastriak shuts the door. The reservations have been canceled, but there's no question about it. There is still room for a lead change at the front of this pack. Once again, the Reg makes a bid for it. That brand new race car is working like a champ. Ironically, the cars that run first and second are both cars fabricated from the same race shop. These are cars made by Ed Munty Jr.
Off the turn and back down that long straightaway, the battle for the lead continues. Some hot and heavy action deep in the pack as well. As you can see, Steve Park in car number 77. That is the car that Rick Fuller had driven in previous season. Park behind the wheel of it this time as they exit turn number 4 down the front straightaway. Also the 31, that blue and white car of Tony Ferrante. The likes and or dislikes of the particular driver who is operating the race car at that time.
Meanwhile, back in the front pack of cars, Richie Gallup is doing a good job of holding on Tony Ferrante. He is putting the pressure on there. Not far behind is George Kent with car number 21. This is a backup car. He had the other car literally destroyed in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. They've taken out Old Faithful, and it's turning in a good performance so far. 12-lap show on the Western Racing Series scoreboard. No doubt about it, still in command at the front of the field is Pastriak, and the pressure is being applied. The Reg is right there on his back bumper. Good racing for positions 1 through 5, and then not far behind is another pack of cars that are equally as strong.
I think what you have to keep in mind, too, is that each driver at this stage of the game hopefully is doing nothing more than just testing the waters. We are only 14 laps into this event right now. 200 is the scheduled distance, so obviously no one really wants to show his complete hand at this stage of the game. What they want to do is just go out, test it out, feel the car out, make sure that everything is the way they want it so that they can pretty much determine their own pace the early portions of the race.
And what an impressive pace it is. As we mentioned, 4 cars have strung it out at the front of this field. The car that has moved into the 4-car draft is car number 8. Remember, that was the fast field down under, but there is not enough distance nor time. Down the back straightaway, Danny Watts is one of the cars that is slightly off the pace. Car number 82, there is some smoke coming from the back end of that car. No real damage done there. There is Pastriak, your leader. We've got one around to the bottom. It looks like the 45 of Doug Zagadlo that is spun in turn number 4. Yes, it is. The Stafford Springs entry, the only local hometown leader.
has been in the right place at the right time near the finish of the race, but not at the finish.
He is so deserving of a victory. Truly one of the nice guys in his business. He has a problem, backs out of the car. Car number 75 is off the pace. They go to yellow. There is a car that has spun down the back straightaway. It is Wade Cole, car number 33. This is the former Tom Baldwin race car. I think it's appropriate we should mention that Tom Baldwin was one of the qualified cars for this event. He is not in the competition. He is recovering from...
The official pace car will begin to pull away from the two leaders. You can see Carl Pastriak, car number 75. He is the leader. Reggie Ruggiero sits on the outside. Ben, it looks like we are set for a picture-perfect restart.
Well, the Reg is ready on the outside. Carl Pastriak knows how tough the Reg can be. They have raced so many times before. There's the green flag waving in the air. We're back at speed. Ricky Fuller tries to dive beneath Reggie Ruggiero. Carl Pastriak has done it once again. He is the man in command, dominating the racing action up front. Meanwhile, a little further back, Jamie the Jet Tomato and Mike Stefanik are duking it out, but there is equally as good of a battle up front. Donald Satchworley with car number 4 has some type of a mechanical problem. He is way off the pace. The yellow Mystic River Marina Don is now scratched on the field. We're still at speed, and we are still at green.
Pastriak finds company right alongside as Reggie Ruggiero makes a tremendous move through turns 1 and 2, and a brand new leader emerges as they go down that long back straightaway. Reggie brings Rick Fuller right along with him, and Jeff Fuller tries to follow suit. Pastriak then is caught in a high groove, and that is no fun for any driver.
No question about it. Ricky Fuller is reeling in on the back end of the Reg. The new versus the old, and that's the story, as the Reg is literally starting to pull away from the competition. Meanwhile, in the third spot, it is the other Fuller brother, and that is Jeff Fuller. Fourth spot is the Jet. Fifth spot is Pastriak, and sixth spot is Mike Stefanik. Tim Murray sets in the 7th position now, but the Reg looks like he's got it under control at the front of the field. Down the back straightaway, top 10 position now, single file. Exceptionally close. There's a long way to go. There's only 31 circuits of the 200 down.
Interestingly enough, the two drivers that are in the front two positions were involved in an interesting exchange last winter. And that is that Reggie stepped out of the 44 automobile and Jeff Fuller stepped into the 44. Make that Rick Fuller. A little bit later on, we'll be talking to these drivers about this particular change in automobiles and change in crews. Meanwhile, Reggie seems to be hooked up very, very nicely. He would like to be able to grab a win here tonight. He takes the car through turns 3 and 4. Fuller right on his rear bumper. Off the turn they come. That is Jeff Fuller in car number 8 to round up the trio headed back towards turn 1.
When they come back to the line, they will have the quarter mark of this event. But there he is, your leader. Car number 69 for Reggie Ruggiero, a car that was built in Kensington, Connecticut, and the Reg himself did a lot of the fabrication work on it. He says it's a little different than most of the...
Would like them. At this stage of the game, that is probably more than natural, as not one of the drivers wants to really get in there and slug it out with anyone else, seeing as how there's still well over 100 Jerry in car number 69, that brand new automobile, literally glued to the racetrack, Ben, as it comes off of that turn, exactly the same spot, each and every lap.
Already had a problem early in the event, went back to dead last and was coming up through the field when you saw him
go. The 4 automobile ran into problems several laps ago, and that particular car is in trouble being serviced by Bob Garbarino and his crew.
It almost appears, Russ, that possibly they lost the spur gears in the car. They've got the back end up. They go back to green, off the turn. It is still the Reg leading. Ricky Fuller is right there, and brother Jeff Fuller is not far behind. There's the battle again. Ruggiero still in command. Ricky Fuller can reel him in, but look at the horsepower when he strings it out at the front of the field. It is the Reg who can pull away, coming off the turns like a rocket. Ricky Fuller closes it up through the turns as they come back to the line.
That's what we were talking about earlier. Reggie obviously has a real good bite coming off the turn, but isn't quite as quick going in or through the turn, and that's where Rick Fuller and his particular setup excels. So even though the two cars were built in the same shop, virtually identical, they're still different.
No question about that. And further back in the field, there is another impressive battle that is still going on, and that is amongst cars, which include car Carl Pastriak. Mike Stefanik is still right there with the Jet. Remember, Tomeno is the defending champion of the Modified Tour. Mike Stefanik was the champion the year before, and he's looking for his second title. Now, Stefanik has won more of the big paying events than anyone on the Modified Tour this season. He has won more races here at Stafford than just about anyone else in the field when it comes to Modified Tour races, and his consistency in winning Sizzlers. Will he be able to pull it off today? 50 laps in the record books. It looks like the Reg is the star. 150 to go. Don't anybody move, because it's not over yet. Trust me.
500 feet. That is the length of the front straightaway here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. The back chute, 550 feet. And these NASCAR Modified Tour automobiles easily reaching speeds of 135 miles per hour. Average timer on the racetrack, just over 19 seconds. 19 and the tick of a clock. So you can sit and figure that very quickly and come up with a tremendous average speed with these open wheels.
Is the man that has been so consistent and smooth at the front of the class. He is literally starting to pull away even more than he did before the last caution. Ricky Fuller is sitting in the number 2 spot. About 2 car lengths separate him from his brother Jeff Fuller. And not far behind, it is car number 19. Mike Stefanik has a problem.
Up in turn 4.
It is the right front tire that is soft on the Stefanik number 15. You can see the tire going down. He tries to keep it to the inside of the racetrack. Stefanik is looking to get to the pits.
Problems with car number 15, as Ben said. Mike Stefanik limping down the backstretch, and this could very easily destroy his hopes for a win. We remain under green, and Mike Stefanik will not be the winner here tonight as he wheels the 8F Auto Palace car number 15 into the pit area. He comes to a screeching halt.
You see how quickly it all can change in a matter of minutes, and luck has more to do with it than one might expect. The defending race winner, Mike Stefanik, is in the pit area under green. That is exceptionally costly to him as they come.
And they're having problems getting the right rear tire off it as well, Ben. This is a disastrous pit area, or pit stop, we should say, in the pit area for Mike Stefanik and the 8F Auto Palace crew. The right front has been ready to go for about 10 seconds. And now they finally get the car off and running.
Good night so far for car number 69 for Reggie Ruggiero. He is the man dominating the racing action. 58 laps appear on the scoreboard. There is Carl Pastriak holding off Jamie Tomeno. Not far behind is George Kent. It appears that Pastriak is starting to slow just a bit. Tomeno is right there waiting for that one move that would put him in as a factor while he contends for the 4 spot. That's the battle for fourth. As he comes off the turn, you can see Pastriak's car a little bit out of shape at this point. George Kent is watching all of this, and not far behind is Tim Airy with car number 99.
Keep in mind, too, that the Kent automobile is a backup car for them. And they are running exceptionally well tonight with what would probably be considered their second car in the lineup.
The interesting factor about that particular car, it was a car that Richie Evans was making, the late Richie Evans, and was the last car that rolled out of their shop, out of the Evans stable, which was purchased by Art Berry. He's talked about putting this car and painting it back up like the Evans machine and using it as somewhat of a remembrance of the late great Richie Evans.
Interestingly enough, when he purchased the car, it was purchased with the panels painted and everything, and Art Berry removed those panels, which were painted to Richie Evans orange with the number 61 and everything. He has wrapped those and put them away, and you're right, he has every intention one day to completely restore that car in remembrance of Richie Evans. And once again, the big Omaha orange car number 61 will be on display.
Off the turn, there's the leader. He just passed a lap automobile, Doug Zagadlo. It is car number 69, Reggie Ruggiero, setting the pace. A brand new race car. It has had some laps on the half mile. They rented the race facility a couple of weeks back. 4 spot is the number 2 of Jamie Tomeno. 5th spot is George Kent. 6th spot is Pastriak. 7th is Tim Airy. 8th spot is Stephen Park. 9th spot unofficially is car number 36 for Mikey Wininsko, and 10th spot is Tony Ferrante, car number 31.
They continue to work the half mile here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
Lead change about to happen down the front straightaway. Something has happened to Reggie Ruggiero. Ricky Fuller literally shot on by like a rocket. The Reg has some type of mechanical problem. He just let Rick Fuller slingshot and go on by. You can see now Jeff Fuller already gaining on the Reg. Possibly it is some type of an engine problem with car number 69.
The thing that was so funny about that was he almost seemed to stop, and then he picked up speed and has been able to maintain Rick Fuller well within his sights. We're going to have to see if we can find out from our infield reporters just what the situation is and what occurred with car number 69.
It almost appears now that the Reg is getting closer again and moving back to hunt down Fuller's number 44. Fuller becomes the third different leader in the competition. Ryan Schofield was a lap car that was just puffing a little steam a moment ago, and it now appears that the Reg is back at speed, going as fast as he was when he led this event. Now he is closing up the gap again.
So, a brand new leader. It is Rick Fuller. And these two drivers have been swapping positions quite a bit because not only do they compete regularly on the Tour, but they are weekly competitors at Riverside Park as well. And it has made for some very, very interesting racing, and needless to say, it's created a lot of fun and even a few arguments among the fans.
It sure has. Now the Reg has reeled back in on Ricky Fuller. Remember, when Fuller took the lead, when it appeared that the Reg had some type of mechanical problem, he strung it out almost instantly. Now look at the Reg. He is all over the back bumper of Ricky Fuller. It almost appears as if he is toying with him a bit. Let's see what's going to happen. A lead change is expected soon when you see that Ruggiero can reel him in at almost any given time. Look at him close up that gap as they come off the turn.
Exactly the opposite of what we had seen 20 laps ago, where Reg was able to pull ahead down the straightaway and Fuller closed the gap at the turn. Now we're seeing exactly the opposite as they head back down that long straightaway. Let's see what happens this time as they go through 3 and 4.
No question about it. Rick Fuller is still maintaining the lead, but for how long? S.J. Avanson becomes the pick in this one. He's a lapped automobile down the front straightaway. It's pick and choose time. One move could be the right one move could be the costly one. There is the Avanson car, the lapped automobile just in front of our leaders. There goes Ricky Fuller to the outside of S.J. Avanson. The Reg is patiently waiting in the wings. S.J. Avanson is trying to run with the leaders. As they come back to the line, Fuller still got the lead.
Deep into turn number 1. The lead duo continues to slug it out. There is Pasteryak. And some of the cars running.
We've got another lead change. It was, for a moment, car number 69 for Reggie Ruggiero. S.J. Avanson is just right in front of the leaders, and he's not giving him any extra room whatsoever as a lap car. This works to the advantage of Ricky Fuller at this time. Let's see what's going to happen down the back straightaway. Sparks fly. Ricky Fuller is forced to back out of it again, and now the Reg takes back the lead.
Unbelievable. You see how close these cars run. 2,500-pound race cars with open wheels running literally inches apart on a half mile at speeds of 130-plus miles per hour. This is incredible racing.
Trouble now. Car number 44 goes spinning in turn 2 to the bottom side of the racetrack. Ricky Fuller goes around, and that's going to bring out a caution. It'll be interesting to see if the NASCAR officials will be doing anything with the Avanson car that I was talking about. Car number 69, Reggie Ruggiero, leads the parade of cars to the pits. The Jet, Jamie DeMano, also into the pits. Jeff Fuller. Every car comes into the pits that is really running among the top 10 at this point of the event. It's a wholesale swap of positions. Doug Hevron's in, Ricky Fuller, George Brunhutzel is in, along with Richie Gallup, Bobby Park, and Mike Stefanik still stays out. The black flag has been issued to someone.
This, of course, is what scoring nightmares are made of, but most of the drivers, as we indicated, would want to take and scoot into the pits just prior to the halfway point, then come back out with fresh tires and be ready to make a charge. Now, there's the Reggie Ruggiero car. Reggie sitting in the car, very, very calm. The crew looking the car over, double-checking things. He's trying to back out and get back on his way. Reggie is caught in the pit area, and it is a tough, tough break for him. Here he goes. Now he is back out.
Car number 35 was black flagged, and therefore that was the reason for the consultation.
That could very well have been a case of Ivanson and Fuller coming together. There is the Rick Fuller car down off the jack. The Mario Fiore crew getting Rick back out onto the racetrack. Tough break for Rick. We will have to check with scoring to find out what his situation is. We do not believe that Rick has lost a lap, however.
Car number 0, Richie Gallup's car, has still got a lot of sparks from beneath that car.
Reggie is back into the pits, Ben. Reggie Ruggiero back into the pits with car number 69.
And not go in for the pit stop were cars that were down 1 lap. So the way the cars pretty much came out of the pit area will determine who is the leader of the event. Now it might look as if car number 33 is the leader. It's the first car, but that car is 1 lap down. The leader unofficially is the 36 of Mikey Winitsko.
Car number 0.
It's beautiful to watch. Those of you who have a good view of the infield or the pit area should watch that much more closely, because the teamwork of the mechanics is really quite something. Back to you, Russ.
All right, very good. Thank you, Barry Simon in the infield. Here they come. Ben, green flag is back out.
No question about it. At the front of the field, it is Mikey Winitsko, car number 36, that is the leader. The cars that are in front of him on the racetrack, those are lapped automobiles. They're at least 1 lap down. Stefanik makes up his lap, or attempts to make up his lap, with car number 15. So it appears that the number 36 automobile is still your leader. Stefanik has made up the lap that he lost earlier. Further back in the pack, we've got Bobby Hart doing a little bit of slicing and dicing with car number 19, as that pack of cars is grouped together rather nicely. Now it appears that Dennis Zagallo literally slows the whole inside leg
Reggie
down.
Ruggiero has run into problems with car number 69 down in the first turn. He has re-fired the automobile. Now Stefanik is back in the lead lap. Yellow flag is out. Mike Stefanik is back in the lead lap. Reggie Ruggiero went around down in turn number 1. We might be able to catch it of George Brunhosel. So that is the way it stands with 90 of 200 completes.
110 laps remaining in the competition. Mikey Winitsko is the gentleman who sets in the number 1 spot with car number 36. Let's see what's going to happen. The pace car pulls off from the racing surface. The green flag is back out. There's the green in the air off the turn. It's a drag race back to the line, and Winitsko pulls away at the front of the field. The Tony's Auto Machine Power number 36 is the leader of the event. Wayne Anderson right there in his back bumper. The battle is for 3rd, and it is a battle between Jamie DeMano, Stephen Park also right in the thick of things as he puts the pressure on as they come back to the line. Winitsko is the man still in command.
Car number 19, driven by Bob Park, another driver from Long Island, who a few weeks ago had the entire modified world pulling for him. The tour was in Richmond, Virginia, and Park in the closing laps. Check that. They were competing at the Nazareth Speedway in Pennsylvania. And in the closing laps, Park appeared to have the thing wrapped up. And then everything suddenly went south.
Unbelievably. He said if he had just a quart of gas, he would have been able to pull it off. They tried their best. Their strategy almost worked, but Bob Park said it was worth it to run up front like that because it made everybody aware that Bob Park was definitely a factor. This man knew what touring was all about before it became a way of life in modified racing. He used to travel up and down the East Coast, and he is one of the veterans from the old school. He used to give guys like Jerry Cook a run for the money back when racing was a lot different than it is today.
And Bob Park can still twist the wheel. Trouble on the front straightaway. Reggie Ruggiero is into the wall. Along with Reggie, we have yet another car. And we believe it is the 75 of Carl Pastriak. Now, Reggie is backing away and may be able to pull into the pit area on his own power. But Pastriak, you can see considerable front-end damage done to that automobile.
Well, it appears that possibly the number 75 automobile literally rode up onto the Ruggiero machine. You can see the sheet metal of the roof. You can see the suspension damage. It's kind of ironic. Those were the 2 cars at the beginning of this event that were really the strongest contenders running up front. Now there you can see the Ruggiero car. You can see the roof sheet metal. It almost appears that the Pastriak car might have rode up on the roof. Those of you in front of the scorer section, you must remain seated. In front of the scorer section, please remain seated because the scorers need to score. They need to see that clock which appears high on the fence, but from where they are, it is almost impossible. Your cooperation, and we ask you to be seated at this time. Then it's George Brunhutzel with the number 38. Then it is Jamie Tomeno, car number 2. Jeff Fuller is back up to the 5th spot with car number 8. And it appears that we are going to go to green. The pace car has the lights off, and it now pulls to the center of the infield. There's the green flag. Iwanitsko still leads him as they come off the turn. Back down to the line. It is Anderson who is all over the back bumper. Ironically, the top 3 cars are 3 of the Long Island veterans currently. Iwanitsko, Anderson, and George Brunhutzel. Then there is defending champion of the Modified Tour, Jamie the Jet. He has not had any luck this season so far. Maybe he's going to change all of that tonight. He runs to the outside of Brunhutzel. George Kent is there, and Ricky Fuller is making up a lot of that ground that he lost earlier. Fuller is now among the top 6 cars on the racetrack, and he is moving very, very strong on the outside. That group is bunched together in a pack as they come off the turn. There is Tomeno trying to make some room on the outside of Brunhutzel. Can't find it this time. Jeff Fuller is right there, and not far behind is Stephen Park with car 77. Now Ricky Fuller goes to the outside of Brother Jeff.
Through turns 3 and 4, the field runs, and the Mario Fiore cars have always been exceptionally good and consistently good race cars. So Rick Fuller certainly has strapped himself into a very, very competitive ride this year. Meanwhile, Mike Iwanitsko making some changes as well, as he is competing in the Tom Baldwin stables. Off the turn here, they come back down to the line. It is still Mike Iwanitsko, who at a very tender age, very early 20s, has become a veteran of the Modified Wars after having started in his, well, let's say his teen years, without getting too specific. Mike Iwanitsko, young fellow again from the island, showing that he too knows the way around this half mile here in the Constitution State.
106 laps are up on the board. Here's a recap of the way they stand. They are tightly packed. Leader is car number 36 for Mike Iwanitsko. There is Ricky Fuller. With that move, he has moved in and taken over the 6th spot. Well, he hasn't exactly got 6th yet. His brother Jeff Fuller has given him a real workout for that position. And there is Mike Stefanik. See him moving in with a 15 on the bottom. Stefanik is trying to make up some ground. So isn't Ricky Fuller. There's still a long way to go in this one. 107 laps into the record books.
Back down and across the stripe. We are getting a report in from scoring, and Ben,
it appears that car number 44 is not down a lap. He is on the same lap as the leaders. Mike Stefanik is still down 1. If he gets to the front of the field, he could make that up, and there is still plenty of time left. Ricky Fuller is on the same lap as the leaders, so unofficially, we would have him scored at this point 6th or 7th in the pack there, and what a pack it is.
so then in fact, earlier when Stefanik ran into the problem with the flat tire, he lost 2 laps, not 1. Okay, so we were in error on that. Meanwhile, back up front, Mike Iwanitsko continues to set the pace. Wayne Anderson out of Yaphank, New York, runs in position number 2. Then it is Jamie and the Jet Tomeno, Jamie out of Howell, New Jersey. And in the next spot, it is the driver from Auburn, Massachusetts, Jeff Fuller in car number 8. Jeff, of course, very, very successful thus far this season. Brings the car off the turn, back down across the stripe. We've completed 111 of 200 laps. And this is the 20th annual Spring Sizzler at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
Off the turn, they are now tapping bumpers. The top 5 cars run nose to tail. Now here comes the Jet. He's looking to the outside of Wayne Anderson. That costs him the position, and now Jeff Fuller tucks the nose down underneath. There is the battle for 3rd. Jeff Fuller has moved into the 3rd spot. He now sets his sights on position number 2. Will he be able to pull it off? But now we see Anderson making a bid for the number 1 spot. Off the turn they come. Iwanitsko is still the man in command. That's the only car in the field running through your tires, by the way. It is the car that sets the pace up front. Trouble down the front straightaway.
Sliding down in a cloud of dust in a Hardy Hi-O Silver is Rick Fuller in the 44. And this has not been a night for him either. It appears as though there's some front-end damage to that race car, Ben.
It appeared as he head down the front straightaway that possibly something let go beneath the hood of the car. There was some flames that shot out. Possibly something in the engine department might have let go. Something might have even went through the oil cooler on the car, something of that type, because we saw flames erupt from beneath the car, quick fire, and then it kind of shut it out, which is an indication it was oil, not anything such as gas or anything of that type. But it appears that Rick Fuller's great run has come to a sudden close. Car in the field that is running Hoosier tires is the car that is currently leading. Wayne Anderson.
And it looks like we are ready to go back to green. The pace car dives in, just makes it in as the field rumbles by the green flag from Chief Starter Chris Hopkins. Alongside it is Bill Long, and the field rumbles down this 500-foot straightaway, and they dive into turn number 1.
No question about it. The battle has now become a battle for second. Jeff Fuller sneaks in on the bottom. It is 3 red cars contending for position number 2. Jeff Fuller has it now. He takes over the runner-up spot, but still in command. It is car number 36 for Mike Iwanisko. Now Jeff Fuller is starting to work over Iwanisko. Jeff Fuller goes to the inside of Iwanisko. Down the back straightaway, another battle shaping up equally as impressive is the battle for 3rd and 4th. Jamie the Jet Tomato sets in that 3rd spot. Here's the lead change as they come off the turn. Another new leader in the competition. Jeff Fuller takes over the lead. Here comes the Jet on the bottom. He moves down beneath Mike Iwanisko. Jamie the Jet Tomato has now taken over position number 2.
Jeff Fuller, of course, the winner of the Busch Pole, as he turned fast time here on the Saturday several weeks ago when we had qualifying for this event. He is also a brand new daddy, and right now is beaming as he leads the 20th annual Spring Sizzler here at the Stafford Motor Speedway.
Tim Airy has had some type of mechanical problem. Sparks are coming from beneath car number 99. It drops way off the pace. We are still up to green, 120 circuits into the record books. When they come back to the line, it is Jeff Fuller who is the star of this show. Tim Airy heads down on pit road. It appears that that problem is forcing him to make a quick pit stop under green, but that's going to cost him a lot of time.
Jeff Fuller, Ben, is beginning to run away and hide. This is something that no driver has been able to do thus far this evening, and yet once Fuller managed to break through, he is really beginning to open it up.
No question about that. A little bit further back, Mike Stefanik is trying to make that run from the back to the front. Remember, we still believe he is at least 1 lap down, and that is unofficial, as Stefanik is still trying to thread the needle through traffic and come to the front of the class. Stephen Park is also turning in a great run with car number 77. Iwanisko and Wayne Anderson, once the contenders for positions 1 and 2, have fallen off the pace just a bit. Now Stephen Park is forced to back out of it as Iwanisko has Jeff Fuller with the Tony's Auto Machine powered race car pulls away at the front of this class. He is literally going, gone. But there's still a long way to go. When they come back to the line, 75 circuits remaining.
One frustrated race driver is exiting turn 4 right now. That is the driver of the 36, Mike Iwanisko, as the car's handles literally begin to go away on him. And yet one very ecstatic race driver right now is the man behind the wheel of this car, Jeff Fuller, in car number 8. Now here comes Mike Stefanik up on the outside of George Brunhosel. Stefanik has been running like Jack the Bear here tonight. He has hooked up the car handles. He has just not been able to keep it headed in the same direction all night long. He ended up a couple of laps down. He's managed
3rd position is George Kent. Now both Jamie DeVano and George Kent have come through traffic together. We've got a spin. It is Zagadlo again with car number 45. He is several laps down in the competition. That is the same spot that he spun earlier in the Festive Oil Service number 45. He gets it fired back up. No real problems here. We're still at green with 129 showing as the laps continue to work away.
So as Doug Zagaldo gets back up to speed, the 8 of Jeff Fuller remains at full tilt. As Fuller is turning the speedway, some very impressive lap times off the 2nd turn down that long back straightaway. Once again, the battle with Stefanik and car number 77. 77, which is a little bit.
It appears that George Kent has a problem, Russ. He has come to almost a stop down the front straightaway. George Kent pulls the car out of the competition. Kent was the 3rd place car. Now he pulls out. He doesn't even go to his pits. He goes behind the wall. George Kent is out for the night. Bad luck continues for the Art Berry stable. Heartbreaker of a situation there. There is Stefanik now trying to make up some of that lost time that he lost earlier. And as Russ had mentioned before, he runs on rails. He is absolutely flying. He is trying to get to the front of the field and make up the other lap that he lost. Putting out yet another caution with his car on the inside of the racetrack. There is the leader, car number 8. There's the gauntlet.
Back to you, Russ.
Thank you a million, Barry. Appreciate it.
Well,
back at the Stafford Motor Speedway, the green flag comes out. 137 of 200 in the record books. Our leader is car number 8, Jeff Fuller.
no question about it. At the front of the field, Fuller looks as strong as he did before the yellow came out. Meanwhile, in the front pack of cars for the 6th spot, we see a battle shaping up with the number 3 of Doug Heveron. Heveron is trying to thread the needle. Stefanik is still working to the front of the class. There is Stephen Parks all over the back bumper of car number 16 for Wayne Anderson. There is Mike Stefanik still trying to make up some of that valuable ground. 139 circuits in. Leader of the event still remains Jeff Fuller. The Tony's Auto Machine Shiva Racing Enterprises, number 8, pulls away at the front of the field.
Off the second turn, pretty much by himself, it is Jeff Fuller. But look at car number 15, Mike Stefanik. Then probably no question about it. Fastest car on the racetrack is the 15 of Mike Stefanik right now, but he still has a long, long way to go before he gets into the competition here in order to challenge for a win.
Stefanik is still moving in within striking distance. He moves down underneath the jet. He puts the factor on. Mike Stefanik is 1 lap down and still trying to make up that ground, but he is definitely on a roll, Russ. He could become a factor if we have another caution. As close as he is almost within striking distance of making up that second lap, and it would put him right back into the thick of things.
Just double check with NASCAR scoring to make sure that we were drives car number 15, Mike Stefanik. And believe it or not, he is in the process of changing that because Stefanik is closing that gap very, very quickly.
One of the cars that was back behind pit road has returned to the competition. It is car number 21. That's the George Kent machine. Remember that car? It was running among the top 4 cars when it just suddenly went dead and pulled behind as a factor. Down the back straightaway, there's the George Kent car. It is several laps down. Remember, it pitted with some type of mechanical problem. We're not sure exactly what that was, but it did move to the pits for a while and regroup. Trouble now. We've got a car around. It is the number 28 of George Brunhutzel and the number 3 car of Doug
Fuller. Then it is Wayne Anderson, the 2 of Jamie Tomeno, and the 77 of Steve Park. We are about to get underway with a restart. There's your leader, car number 8, Jeff Fuller. The 15, Mike Stefanik, if you're just joining us, is down 1 lap. And yet Stefanik has the fastest car on the racetrack. Let's see what happens. Here they come.
There's the green flag off the turn. Jeff Fuller still leads him when they come back to the line. Stefanik is still the number 2 car on the racetrack, but he is still off the turn. The leader of the event still remains car number 8. Dominating the racing action up front. Stefanik is looking to make up the lost time. And there is Stefanik on the outside.
Stefanik now right up, actually inches by, but Fuller has the inside groove. Who will it be as they come off the 4th turn? Down to the line, Mike Stefanik is now in the lead lap.
He has made up the laps he was down 2. He has made them both back up. There is still a lot of time left. Fact is, if this was a regular Friday night program here at Stafford, in the Winston Racing Series division, there is a feature event left, we'll call it. So it is still not a long shot by far for Mighty Mike Stefanik. He has made up a lot of ground. The question is, will he have used up all of the tires and the equipment that it took to make up the valuable ground that was lost? Time holds the answer to that one.
The perfect scenario right now is for a caution flag to come out now, for Stefanik to dive in, put on fresh tires, and start right from the back and head to the front. However, it is very, very seldom that the perfect scenario develops in automobile racing, and Mike Stefanik has to put up with whatever lady luck deals out.
163 circuits into the record books. No question about it. Leader still remains car number 8 for Jeff Fuller. Wayne Anderson turning in his best run ever here at Stafford. He is driving an excellent race. Cannot be considered out of this, and that would allow him to go to the back of the pack and come back through again. And the way he's running, that would be a difficult task by no means for the talent of Mike Stefanik. Jeff Fuller is still your leader. Wayne Anderson is still running in second. Mike Ivanitsko, the Hoosier Tire car, sets in the third spot, and fourth spot is the number 77. Unofficially in the fifth spot is possibly the number 37 for Bruce D'Alessandro. That is unofficial for position number 5. Sixth spot appears to be the number 3 of Doug Heveron. Then it is George Brunhutzel, Bobby Park, and Jamie the Jet Tomato. Also trying to make up some valuable time. Tony Ferrante is on a move also, and he is still very strong. Remember, he had a flat while the field was under caution and went to the pit area. 169 circuits are down.
You can see the field beginning to get strung out just a little bit as this 200-lap grind is beginning to take its toll on these race cars. Mike Ivanitsko, kind of a 30 span of a driver who is just glued to the racetrack, like he is on rails. Stefanik the same way. An indication of a very good driver is the smoothness in which they approach and exit turns, and the spot on the racetrack where they keep the race car. Last after dropped out earlier, they managed to get the race car back together. Doug Heveron in car number 3 also having a very, very trying evening out here tonight.
Well, if consistency pays off and not giving up, the I Done Good award is almost in the competition.
No two ways about that. 181 now up on the scoreboard. Into the final 20 circuits.
Car number 28, George Brunhutzel, has moved into the 4th spot. Stephen Park sets in 3rd. Wayne Anderson, great run for him. This driver is one of the veterans that comes out of Riverhead Raceway, as we've mentioned, and he has told me before, I have never had any luck at Stafford. Boy, is he wrong. Tonight, he has had the luck with him. In addition to that, he has driven George Brunhutzel. He is now reeling in on Stephen Park. That is the battle for the number 3 spot. Stephen Park sets in 3rd. There's Brunhutzel with a 20.
Greatest race in the history of spring. The 20th annual Spring Sizzler here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Your leader, car number 8, Jeff Fuller. Running in the 2nd spot, it is car number 16. That is the 16 of Wayne Anderson. Wayne Anderson, another Long Island, New York driver. Then comes car number 77 for young Stephen Park. And George Brunhutzel just passed Park, so that puts the 28, car number 28, into the 3rd spot. And in 4th is Steve Park.
And in the 5th spot, it is Doug Heveron with car number 3. Unofficially in the 6th spot, we should mention this young man. We believe it is Bruce D'Alessandro out of East Hartford, Connecticut. He has driven an excellent race with car number 30. Something has expired beneath the hood of that car. They too are out of the competition. There is Stefanik still working his way around the cars, getting back into the thick of things. So don't count Wayne Anderson out. He can almost taste it. And when you've never been to Victory Lane at Stafford, it becomes extremely, extremely important. And it is more than just impressive in your portfolio, let me tell you. As they come back to the line, it is still Jeff Fuller in command. Anderson is trying to close up the gap. Time is running out, though. There is less than 3 circuits remaining.
That's right. Next time by, the famous popsicle sticks will go into the air, and Jeff Fuller will be told he has only 2 circuits left to run. There they are. The flags are high in the air, and it's 2 laps to go for Jeff Fuller. And for Wayne Anderson, for George Brunhutzel, for Steve Park, and the rest of the modified tour automobile drivers.
Down the back straightaway, car number 8, your leader still, Jeff Fuller, the Tony's Auto Machine powered race car.
Let's follow him around, Ben, on the very last circuit, across the stripe, into turn number 1. The white flag is out. Jeff Fuller now off of turn number 2. He'll aim it down that 550-foot straightaway. The final time for Fuller. Into turn number 3. All by himself. Off the turn now, he's headed home. Checkered flag is out, and the Spring Sizzler goes to Jeff Fuller.
Runner-up is car number 16 for Wayne Anderson. 3rd position when they come off the turn is car number 28 for George Brunhutzel unofficially. 4th spot, the 77 of Stephen Park, and unofficially in the 5th spot, car number 3 for Doug Heveron. Well, the Spring Sizzler is now history. 200 drooling laps of competition here at the half mile, and it is not over with yet. If you've never seen Jeff Fuller in victory lane, get ready, because you think his performance on the racetrack was impressive. Wait till you see the enthusiasm and the excitement. The Tony's Auto Machine powered race car number 8, the Sheba Racing Enterprises entry, has done it. It'll visit victory lane. The crew is out to congratulate him. Another impressive victory by Jeff Fuller. He literally owns the real estate mower from the Martinsville Speedway. Mike Kalanoff is down there to congratulate our winner. There'll be other special awards to be presented, including the Fred DeCero Award and several others.
Give him the. We'll get Jeff here up on the podium. Yeah, put this on.
Oh, real flowers.
Well, what do you think?
My arms are so tired right now. That last caution come out, there was like 55 laps to go. Somebody had spun there in turn 4. I went to go around him, and all of a sudden the front end of the car started vibrating. The belt must have fallen off, or the power steering pump must have gotten plugged up or something. I don't know what happened, but my arms feel like they're going to fall off right now. These things, the way the cast is set up in the front end, it's so hard to turn the wheel without without power steering. I'm not trying to sound like some wimp, but believe me, these things are really tough to turn them fat tires.
Let me ask you something, Jeff. You're here in victory lane. You got off to a great start this year, though, a great win in Martinsville. After that, things were a little shaky. Nazareth was a good run. Now you're back here. You think things might turn around for the Sheba Racing crew?
I sure hope so. My wife, we just had our first baby, Shannon Marie. She was 7 pounds 2 ounces. I'm goofing on that. I'll tell you what, that's the best thing in the world, having a little kid. I even changed diapers and all that.
Jeff, how about some of these guys that help you out? You've got a great crew. Brad LaFontaine, he's probably one of the best in the business. He certainly turned the wrenches real good for you today.
I'll tell you what, we were here a month ago. We sat it on the pole. He changed the spring right before time trials. We guessed what the temperature was going to do tonight. Changed a couple more springs. My hat's off to Brad and the whole crew. This crew worked so hard. Scott and Patty Banzel, they own the car from Vulcan Industries, and there's just so many people that I'd have to thank. I don't want to bore you with it. I'd be here all night. I just thank everybody for coming out and watching the show. I hope it was a good one.
Jeff, a great run for you here at Stafford. At the end of the event, all of a sudden you looked in the mirror and there was Wayne Anderson. Did you expect to see Wayne on your tail pretty close?
I'll tell you, Wayne had a real good run. If we had power steering in the car, I think I could have driven the car a little bit harder, but we didn't have any radio communication today. Chucky tried hooking the radios up right before the race, and the radio didn't work, so I didn't have any communication whatsoever with my crew, but I looked at the scoreboard, and I seen that blue car, that blue 15 on my mirror, and I looked at the board, and the 2 was in second place of the 16 or something, so I knew he was a lap down, and under caution, he come up alongside of me, and he motioned, I'm 1 lap down, so, go for it. I'm not, at that time, I didn't have any power steering, and I didn't want to burn myself out, fooling around with Mike there, so I let him go, and Wayne was right there. I'll tell you, if it was probably another 20 laps, he might have gotten me, because I was really tiring out.
Jeff Fuller, a great run, and congratulations here at Stafford.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, the photographers get in, and we'll have a few more special awards. Well, George Brunoso Jr. is here. George, you look quite tired also.
Yeah, I'm a little tired right now. We never really got the car completely the way we wanted it to be. After the last pit stop, we got to push a little bit going in, but it was still real loose coming off. So I was working the wheel pretty good all night.
Who are some of the tougher drivers out there for you this evening?
Well, they're all tough. I mean, Fuller and Wayne, they ran away from the rest of us, and the rest of us were just trying to hang on and do the best we could.
Good run, George. Keep it going. Now the presentation of the Fred DeSara Memorial Award. That went to, of course, Doug Heveron. Doug, congratulations on that award. You look pretty worse for the wear also.
We had a tough day. Rack was broke, kept sticking out there when the zero got into me. the clutch wasn't working right. We spun out 3 times, just kind of like, when is our luck going to change, so we can't complain about a 5th place finish at all.
Another top 5. This is becoming some year for you here.
Yeah, we're having a real good year. I think we gained a little bit on Stefanik, so that makes us feel good. And coming here not knowing what was going to happen in the feature here, that we're real happy, and we'll just take it to the next one.
Congratulations, Doug. Keep it up. Wayne Anderson looks very, very, very tired. We'll get a few words with him in just a moment.
Hanlon, I was hoping Jeff would have a little problem so I could win a race, but he drove a good, clean race, passed everybody nice, and this is my best finish up here at Stafford, and we're real happy.
You're also having a fantastic year on the tour. Jeff getting a little crazy with the champagne. Wayne says, don't spill it all. He wants a little sip.
Yeah, we gotta go let the big guys in back here.
So a great finish here, your best finish here on the 1991 Winston Modified Tour. You're now 4th in the current point standings unofficially. That's got to make you feel pretty good because you really weren't sure you wanted to run this thing for the whole 1991 season.
No, we really weren't, Mike, and with the help of some real good sponsors like Sable Ford and Instadome Skylight and Rignola Radiator, V&M Transfer, and my new sponsor, Riga Viva, they're kind of pushing us to go to the tour. So going to make it hard in 2 weeks when we got to run Flemington on Saturday night.
You're ready for the next one. Flemington. Now, what's going to happen? You're also running for the title at the Riverhead Raceway. You're a 5-time champion and defending champion. How are you going to make your decision now?
Well, we got to see what happens this tomorrow night, and we've got to go from there. I don't know what else to say.
Wayne Anderson here, a great finish on the Winston Modified Tour here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. His best finish of the 1991 season, and on the Winston Modified Tour, thrust out.
All right, Michael, thank you very, very much. And it has indeed been quite a month for Jeff Fuller as he set fast time here back on day number 1 for the Spring Sizzler, and then had to wait several weeks before we were finally able to get the race off, and Jeff comes home the winner here tonight. A new father and a brand new notch in the racing belt for Auburn, Massachusetts driver Jeff Fuller.